Monday morning, it is a beautiful fall-like day here in the Tennessee Valley. We're going to have beautiful temperate weather, a little bit of mist still in the air, a perfect day for Tom Stebbins to head our way. He, of course, is with the Master Gardeners of Hamilton County. So good to see you.
It's very good to see you, Julie.
And I think that I'm talking to you a day late because I came out here and I saw your table and I said, oh my goodness, Tom, I could have used you yesterday. I have a maple tree in my yard. I was busy raking the leaves.
Right.
I think you might have given me different advice.
Well, I learn something new every day myself too, and I realized several things about trees, a little bit tighter, and a couple things. One, I want to predict the leaf color today for everyone, and I want to try to make it a little easier on you as far as working in your yard.
Yeah.
And maybe healthier for your trees. I call it treasure your trees. Right.
Okay, so let's talk the color first, because you mentioned you want to predict the color.
Yeah.
It seems to be a good year so far.
Oh, it's going to be a fabulous year. It already is. In fact, from Friday to now, I see on Lookout Mountain, I can see that from my house. It's really just changed overnight.
Is the rain that we had part of the reason?
Well, it's just day length. Mm-hmm. You know, as the days get shorter, and if it stays warm during the day and cool at night, that's perfect.
Okay.
So there's a combination, temperature a little bit. The cooler temperatures make it go gradually instead of all at once. A little bit of rain helps.
Yeah.
And that all those combination of factors.
Okay, so I do enjoy raking my leaves. When my kids were little, I would rake them up and then would have great big leaf piles for them to jump in and swing into.
Right.
So when I was raking some yesterday, I was wishing for some neighborhood kids to come by to jump in the pile. For people who find it a drudgery, you say it's okay to mow them.
Oh, definitely. If you think about it, a tree is pulling up nutrients from the ground to support its growth. And so there's nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, everything, you know, that we put in as vitamins in our bodies.
Right.
And so that's in the leaves. And so when the leaves fall to the ground, why break them up? And why give them to the city?
Right.
So if you can sometimes people have way too many leaves,
mm-hmm.
and so you have to find a place. You can compost them. That's okay,
mm-hmm.
but it's better to just leave them and try to break them up. If you've got a mower that can mow them.
Okay, so in my yard, I had more than I realized. So right now, I bagged some of them, but the rest have just kind of banked under the tree until
Perfect.
I can get to it. You're saying spread them back out maybe in the yard a little bit and mow over them?
Well, if you can bank them underneath the tree, that's good too.
Really?
Yes.
Because it's getting right into those roots, is that why?
Yes, it's very good for trees. It's very good for weeds, if there's weeds on new trees. It's good for vegetable gardens. You can pile them up in your vegetable spot. You can put them between your flowers, and they'll break down. If you put in 6 inches of leaves or even 8 inches, they'll break down over the period of time.
Okay, let me
winter.
ask you this. I'm also mulching. I think a lot of people end up putting some fresh mulch down this time of year.
Right.
You're saying that take advantage of nature anyway, but the tornadoes in April gave us a lot of wood chips that are ideal. Why?
The wood chips are ideal for the same reason, and they're made from the inner part of the tree. And the bagged mulch that you buy from the store is generally bark. It's either pine bark or cypress bark. And some people think, well, I want that pretty mulch, and so they'll pay $10 a bag. But in a month or so, that pretty mulch just turns brown anyway. It doesn't really stay. But the wood chips are from just an arborist or a tree guy that cut them down, and you can see they're pretty uniform.
Yeah, they are.
And a little bit of leaves in there. This gives the tree or your garden nitrogen.
They're going to fall in there anyway.
Yeah,
right?
These are going to deteriorate, and what you're going to end up with is nice, rich wood chips.
Okay.
And these nutrients, weed control, moisture control.
So here's my question. If I took some of those leaves that I was raking up and I put them in some flower beds and then put mulch on or the wood chips on top, is that a win-win?
Any combination you want will work.
But that's going to get that nutrient-rich material into the soil.
You probably won't need fertilizer because there's plenty of trees really don't need fertilizer anyway.
Okay.
Once the tree gets over 5 years old, it's pretty well on its own.
People are planting bulbs and things this time of year, pansies. Again, good to add to help them grow better?
Definitely, yeah,
okay.
Definitely. They're a wonderful source, and it's a useful source. Just recycling, if we're talking about environmental issues, we want to encourage continue the environment and make it better for our world.
So many people will consider this time of year to be their favorite season. It certainly is mine. I think one reason, though, is there's so many memories on your fingertips of the fall season, and you think back to your childhood and traditions you had of getting new school clothes and this kind of thing. But doing the leaf presses was a big part of our childhood. You're taking us back in time.
Yeah, it's a good time when kids are homeschooling. Put the leaves. Here's the sassafras leaf. Remember the mitten or the thumbs?
Yeah.
That was a good one. Well, this is the state tree,
The
tulip poplar. Yep. And of course we got the maple. There's one called sweet gum.
Remember the fun of walking, though? You'd find a wooded path or your own street, and you'd look to pick up the prettiest one and find them that had different colors. And
oh man,
we used to put them in wax paper and iron them. Remember that?
Right. Or scribble on top of them with a
piece of paper.
Yep.
The wax rub.
Yeah.
The reason, before I let you go, that the tulip poplar is our state tree, is that because we just have so many of them in Tennessee?
Yeah, I think it's because we're really good at growing them. And I think sometimes when you look at the history, it goes back to a contest. And I can't remember if that was a contest that kids or people put their best tree forward, and that's the one that won. So that's often the way it works.
Okay, we are on the cusp of the holiday season. For people who have everything, if they're looking for a gift to give a garden lover, can they give them classes to the Master Gardeners?
We've just started them this past week. Actually, last week was our first one.
Okay.
We're going to have we generally don't have a class in the fall. We wait till...
But will you in the new year? Could
we
they think about that?
Yes, the next class will be starting, so they can sign up for Christmas and be ready to go in January.
Okay, they know so much, and you can either go through the complete Master Gardeners program, or you can just sign up for some of the individual classes that they have in an area that interests you. But if you go to the website, mghc.org, Master Gardeners of Hamilton County, and there's their phone number. Tom Stebbins is the man who knows it all. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you.
West Yellowknife Trading Post has everything under the sun. R13 and R19 pink